अ, ठीक है।
So, hi Simran, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, sir. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Just brief me about your candidature.
So, first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Good evening, sir. My name is Simran, and I'm a recently qualified cost and management accountant, and I hail from New Delhi. So, I've been fortunate enough to experience the corporate life through the lens of my internship, as I was associated with N. Sharma and Associates, a cost accountant firm which is based in New Delhi. So I had a decent exposure by serving through different clients, wherein my major learning was internal auditing, preparation of cost records, cost audit reports, some sort of indirect taxation also. So during the period of my internship, I was working, basically me and my team, we were working on a project that is preparation of risk control metrics. So there was a company which belongs to a power sector industry. We have to identify the risk which is associated to that industry, and we have to mention the controls. We have to suggest the control to them. So if I talk about my academic credentials, I have completed my graduation from Delhi University, Gagi College, and I've done my schooling from my hometown only. So I've always been an academically bright student, and I was performing well during the tenure of my academics also. And if I talk about my professional credentials, I've so I feel like I'm someone who is very methodological in her approach. Like first I try to understand the task and then carry it out. It helped immensely during the tenure of my internship. If I talk about my personal credentials, my father, he's a government employee. He's in government employee. He's in a National Human Rights Commission. And my mother, she's homemaker. I have two siblings. My younger sister, she's pursuing BTech, and my brother, he's in his high school. So apart from this, I was also associated with an NGO, with an NGO, sorry. So basically, I was a teaching volunteer there, where my task is to taught some unprivileged student. Basically, they reside in a slum area, and we have to go there and we have to teach them. So not only teaching, we also organize some campaign there to make the people realize regarding the importance of education, not only for boys but for girls also. And apart from this, I was also associated with some I was also associated with some uh, uh, departmental fest in my college, in which me and my team, basically we have to organize some sort of fest in which me and my team, we basically have to uh, one second. What we have to do is we
Okay, that's enough. Enough. We got a good view of your credentials. So you
Okay.
said that you worked on RCM for a power sector company, right?
Yeah.
So can you just elaborate on any risk areas that the power sector company faces?
Yeah, so sir, during that preparation of risk control metrics, we came across several risks. So uh, I remember few of them. So, like first of all is incorrect information may lead to impede calculation of per unit of power. Incorrect information regarding available capacity of the plant may lead to misrepresentation of capacity utilization, and sometimes incorrect information regarding total available capacity for the power sold may lead to misrepresentation of revenue also. It also happens like non-determination and not properly ascertainment of direct cost may lead to inflation of other cost head also. And there was one more risk, like non-determination and non-ascertainment of consumable stores and spares may lead to piling up of stocks. And apart from this, like they use some energy for captive consumption also. So non-ascertainment of proper units they are using for captive consumption also can create some sort of risk in the organization. And risk associated with the method of depreciation they are using, like the revaluation of asset also takes place. So they should follow like some single consistent method of depreciation. So these are some risks
Okay,
I can.
good. Yeah, good. So you have been a teaching volunteer, as you said earlier. So do you wish to take up teaching as a profession later on? since you have been teaching in NGOs?
Sir, I haven't think like I never thought of taking this teaching as a profession. Teaching as a profession, yeah, I like helping. I like helping the students who do not have access to some good education environment, and who do not have access to the resources which as we are I think we are very privileged, like we are getting some sort of environment and some sort of resources, but they are not like that. As I went there, I saw the problem they are facing. Like they are not that much inclined towards education. They do not even know the importance of education. So the purpose was not teaching there. The purpose is to make them realize, their parents realize the importance of education, what changes they can make in their life if they pursue a good career in a good career. So that was the motive. Teaching, no sir, I haven't think like.
Okay, great. So you have mentioned here that you have prepared MIS reports. So for which areas did you prepare these MIS reports?
So sir, basically it was a car manufacturing company which approached us regarding the preparation of MIS reports. So what I did, like we as a team, we are performing this. So like year wise production, like in Excel sheet, I've prepared basically the data is given by the company to us. So we just properly segregated the data, like per year wise, how much how which type of car they are producing, and the name of the cars, and something like a sort of data we have created. And by using the pivot table, we segregated the data, and like we created the report. uh, we segregated the data, and we properly um, we prop 1 second sir. So by using the pivot table, we created a analysis, basically like in which year the sale of car is maximum, in which year which type of car they are producing, like in which year they are producing large quantity of the car, just for checking the demand and supply. So yeah.
Okay, fine. So were you able to find out any actionable insights from that MIS?
Actionable insight as in sir.
Like when you analyze certain things, when you prepared those reports and pivot tables, were you able to find out any observations? Were you able to find any action points that the company need to take, or did you pointed out certain things to the company which can help them in whatever way possible that you were preparing MIS for?
Okay, so can I take 1 minute to think?
Yeah, sure.
So, sir, we were working as a team there. So, as I was intern there, so I cannot approach directly to the client. We have to more report to our seniors only. So, when I was personally working on this, I realized that during the period of COVID, like I was also there at the time of COVID. So, during the period of COVID, the demand of the car fall. At that time, but the luxury cars at that time, the demand of the luxury car was constant, like since 2017, 18, 19 it was constant. But during the time of COVID also it was constant. But the demand of sir, some consumer base, the car which used by middle class family, the demand for that fall. So during the discussion with my senior, so there was a basic discussion in which like we as an intern suggested them, like if the company more focuses on like if the company more focuses on advertisement, like during this period also, if the company create the demand for the car, like give offer to the consumer, so that in this period also not that much of sale made, but if they can made at a medium level. So like.
Okay, no problem. So you have mentioned here that you have done budgeting forecasting also, right? What is the difference between budgeting and forecasting?
Okay, sir. So, sir, budgeting is a financial plan. Budgeting is a financial plan which is mentioned in a quantitative terms. This is prepared by the management. This is prepared by the management in advance before taking any kind of action. But forecasting is basically estimation of future by checking out the past event and by checking out the present event. So before preparing any kind of budget, the management has to forecast the future, as in like in future what kind of raw material they are going to supply, in future whether the supplier they are in contract with them in past, whether they are going to continue with them in the future or not. So forecasting is a pre-requirement before preparing any kind of budget, and this is very compulsory. Like if the company do not make any kind of forecasting, then this may create several risks for them in the future. And apart from this, budgeting is like something which is uh, uh, budgeting is something which is prepared for execution, but forecasting is like it is very internal thing, which company do not directly execute. This is a basically base to prepare the budget. And apart from this, budget is very like these are very this is prepared for economic purpose only, but forecasting is done for qualitative and quantitative aspect, for both aspects.
Okay, great, good. So since you've also done internal audit, so assume that you're a part of the management or you're a part of the internal audit team, and while checking records in the books, you found out that there are certain inventories lying in the warehouse, and you undertook a measure where you will possibly go and physically verify the inventories in the warehouse. And while doing the same, you were able to come across certain inventory items which were lying extra in the warehouse. I mean, whatever was there in the books, uh, the inventory in the warehouse was far more than what it was lying in the books. What could be the possible reasons that there is a difference in both, where inventory lying in the warehouse is more than inventory lying in the books?
Okay, sir. So, sir, during this checking, like if we came across such an instance, so first of all, we can talk to the management, like why the inventory which is lying in the stock is not mentioned in their records. And like there can be several reasons also. Like before approaching to the management, we as a team, we also
Assume you have been hired by the management to identify the reasons.
so the reason can be like it may be possible, like the company has instantly purchased that inventory, and there might be some holidays occurred after that purchases, so the
True.
company and no staff was available at that time to record that transaction. And there
Fine.
might happen like the invoicing or like other documentation was not completed for that inventory,
True.
so the company resisted to record that transaction. And apart from this, like uh, yeah, I'm able to think only these reasons right now.
Okay. Can there be another reason? Few more reasons.
Can I take 1 second to think?
Yeah.
Uh, there can be like this might happen, like the inventory which they have not recorded in the books. They want they want to return, like the purchases they have made for that inventory. They basically want to return that product, so that's why they have not. I'm not able to think.
They want to return the product, but that's why they have not. What?
They have not mentioned that, they have not recorded that in their system. Like they want to return that product is of no use, or like now
But
the
in case
demand.
if they have not, if they want to return the product, that product is still lying in the warehouse, so it will
Yeah.
be counted in the warehouse count. And since they have not booked the entry in the books, so that there also it is lying in the books. So in that case, there shouldn't be any reconciliation issues here. because in both books and warehouse, the same amount of quantity is lying and sitting in books as well as warehouse. So there shouldn't be any difference on this account. Think, give me one more reason.
Okay, sir.
Okay, no problem. Moving ahead. So you mentioned, block credits under 17.5. Okay. So what lines did you handle, in this NN Sharma and VHP and company? Which were the sectors? One was power sector. Which
Yeah.
are the other ones?
So, uh, as I in VHP, I've worked for very less period, so I don't have that exposure. Like I work for one month only, but in NN Sharman, in associate, I work for 1 year. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I know some clients which we were regularly dealing there. Like the first one is a client which belongs to cement industry, a client which belong to healthcare industry, also a client which belongs to some publication house was there, so the client belongs to that industry also, and the power sector industry which we have just discussed. Yeah, there
Okay,
was.
great. So since you've handled, cement industry client, what is the rate of GST applicable in cement industry or on cement? Yeah,
uh, Rate of GST on cement?
right.
No sir, I don't know.
Okay, fine. Is there any amendment pertaining to block credits, in the recent budget?
Yes sir, there is an amendment, like uh, the CSR expenditure, the CSR expenditure which the company makes on the goods and services, it is not allowed for, like the company cannot avail ITC on that if they made any kind of CSR expenditure.
So
So
was it allowed earlier?
in GST, I think it was allowed earlier. In income tax, like there was no deduction for the same, like for CSR expenditure, it was disallowed, but in GST it was allowed.
Okay. But now they've disallowed the same. Why so? What could be the possible reason behind the same? Why has the government brought in such a regulation? Like,
Sir,
if you can think of.
like CSR expenditure is compulsory. It is a expenditure which is compulsory in nature. Like
Hmm.
the company has to incur it, whether they earn, like the company has to incur it. If we check like income tax regulation, also they also do not allow any kind of deduction if the company has made any kind of CSR expenditure.
Hmm.
Uh, so I think because of its nature, like GST also put this restriction on availment of ITC. Or
Okay, fine. But you must have, read Section 17.5, and it says that in case if there is any expenditure which is mandated by law, then in that case it is allowed, the company or the assessee is allowed to avail credit on the same. So there's a clause there that in case if you are providing insurance or you're buying insurance for the employees, so that insurance GST that you're paying for that insurance premium on the insurance premium is disallowed. It is block credit. But in case if it is mandated by any law or there's a legal requirement per se, it is allowed under GST. Now CSR is also a legal requirement, but why is government disallowing the same?
sir, I think like as we like CSR expenditure is, I, I don't know if I'm right or not, but I think like it does not come under the purview of supply.
Hmm.
Like in supply there should be a consideration, there should be a transaction which relate to business. So
Hmm.
but in CSR expenditure, like I don't know if,
Okay, fine, fine. Understood. No problem. So you have mentioned here that you have helped the client in tax planning in choosing, regular or composition scheme, right? So what factors did you uh, took into consideration before deciding whether the client should go for a regular scheme or a composition scheme? What were those deciding factors?
Yeah, okay. So, sir, like, uh, as we know in composition scheme, like, the basically the supplier, uh, if they do not have, first of all, if they are small supplier, like if its turnover is below 150 cr, or it's if it is up to 150 cr, then it is suggested them to take composition scheme. And apart from this, if we talk about it's
Assume, okay,
yeah.
assume that assessee is eligible to opt for composition scheme. Like that SSC is not a service provider, or I mean, this even it is allowed to service provider, but they are qualifying under all the norms provided by the law to avail the composition scheme. Apart from the eligibility criteria, what are the factors that you determine, uh, you know, to give this sort of advice that the client should go for a regular scheme or a composition scheme?
So one of the biggest criteria is like input tax credit.
Hmm.
I think this is the main criteria where all the suppliers run through, like whether they want to switch to composition scheme or regular scheme. So if a
Hmm.
supplier do not have that much that do not have that purchases for which they can claim ITC, like uh, for which, if the supplier do not have that input tax credit, so they can take composition scheme. Like in composition scheme,
Who do not have input tax credit, can you just elaborate on this, please?
sorry, sorry, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second.
What you mean to say is that they do not have, GST leviable purchases, right? So there is no point going for a regular scheme.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like, huh.
Let's say their own purchases are from, composition dealers or non-tax leviable, non-GST leviable vendors. Then what's the point of getting into regular scheme?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would say.
What else? Is there any other factor that can determine?
And sir, also, like, if they do not have that much place of business, like if they are only in Delhi, and if they want to supply within this territory only, so, and if they do not have that much of turnover, and if they do not want to if they do not want to maintain the that much of books and accounts and that much of records, not only this reason, not only this reason, but yeah.
But even if they go for composition scheme, they have to prepare books and accounts.
Yeah, they have to prepare, like in regular scheme, as we can see, like
I mean,
regular.
what you're trying to say is that they can reduce their compliance burden of filing returns every month.
Definitely, that's what I want to say. So if they want this, and they do not have that much of place of business, so they are suggested that they can go for composition scheme.
Okay. So who can opt for, let's say, if can a service provider opt for composition scheme?
Sir, if that person is exclusively providing services, then they do not opt for composition scheme. They rather go for presumptive taxation scheme, but they do not opt for composition scheme. Like, if the if apart from restaurant and outdoor caterers, if the person is supplying goods, and along with that goods they are supplying some sort of services, then in that case they can apply for composition scheme. But if they are exclusively supplying only services, then they cannot opt for
Are you
composition scheme.
sure?
I've read about it, like that there is a presumptive taxation scheme, something like there
Is
is a
there any
limit of
concept of
50
is there a concept of presumptive taxation in GST, or is it the income tax
lakh
concept?
income tax. So there was a limit of 50 lakhs. Actually, there was a limit
But
of
that is
50.
turnover in the previous financial year.
Yeah. Like if any service provider has a turnover of 50 lakhs in previous financial year, then they can
Hmm.
offer composition scheme.
Okay, fine. Assume that you are my vendor. I'm taking some services from you, right? You have raised the bill, and I took that service in December 23. Please hear the question properly. I took the service in December 23, right? And that bill is due for next 1 year. So when my GST auditors, my income tax auditors, my statutory auditors pointed out that there is one invoice for which you have not paid yet, there's a creditor in the name of Simran standing from last 1 year. I think you should pay it off and claim the credit ITC for the same. I paid off that amount to you. Now can I claim credit for the same if I pay that amount in December 24? The invoice pertains to December 23. The service also pertains to December 23.
So, sir, if you had paid the amount,
Hmm.
then in that case, you can claim input tax credit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the last date of claiming input tax credit for a certain invoice of a particular year?
Sir, once again, I know the answer. 180 days or 30th September, due date of filing of return of September for the next financial year, whichever is earlier.
180 days or September, whichever is earlier.
Due date of filing of return for September month, that is 20th of
Okay.
October, whichever is earlier.
And 180 days of the invoice from the date of invoice, right? I'm just confirming. This is what you said, right?
Yeah, that's what I say.
Okay. What is QRMP scheme?
QRMP scheme is, sir, once again, I know, quarterly return and monthly payment scheme. Sir, this scheme is basically this under this scheme, the supplier can take the scheme on GST-IN wise. Like
Hmm.
in for availing regular and composition scheme, it is on pan India basis, but for availing this scheme, the supplier can take on GST-IN wise. And also there's a limit of, I don't remember the exact limit, but there is a limit of, I think, uh,
What do you mean by GSTIN type? Can you explain this term, please? GST is
GST
based on GST. Generally, GST's registrations are based on PAN, right?
GSTIN is GST identification number. So
Hmm.
every supplier who is registered in in any place, they basically they are provided GSTIN for that state. For suppose if I am a supplier, if I am registered in Delhi, so I will get the GSTIN of Delhi. If I am registered in Mumbai, then I will have to take GSTIN of Mumbai. So GSTIN is the place wise identification number.
I haven't heard of such a number, but I think there is a registration number which is being issued to all the vendors depending on their state and PAN. That's all. Let's say if I'm from Rajasthan, the number would be 08, then PAN number, and then some alphanumeric digits at the
Yeah,
end.
exactly. The state wise, like
Okay.
it is issued state wise. Like if I am registered in Delhi, then I'll have to take registration in Delhi. So that registration which I'm saying is like I have to obtain that GSTIN in Delhi. If I'm registered in Mumbai, then I have to take GSTIN in Mumbai also.
Okay. What is the threshold of availing this QRMP scheme? And like, can you just explain the scheme a little bit in detail?
uh, so sir, as I said, the scheme is uh, quarterly return and monthly payment scheme.
Hmm.
So I don't remember the exact threshold limit. I think that is 50 CR in the preceding financial year or something. Under this
50
scheme,
CR.
I don't remember the exact threshold
Okay.
in which
And
basically the supplier, they can file the return on a quarterly basis. That is, if the quarter starts from April, then for April, May, June, they can file the return for that in the 20th of July. And monthly payment is like, for the month of April, they have to pay the tax. For the month of April, they have to pay the tax in 20th of March only. So there are also different methods like fixed payment method, and I have very vague idea about this scheme, sir. I don't have exact idea.
okay, no problem. Are you aware of e-invoicing norms?
Yes, sir, I know the norms of I have
Okay,
idea.
so can you just elaborate on that scheme as well? When do we need to opt for e-invoices and to whom it is applicable? Who has to issue invoices? What is the threshold?
Sir, so e-invoicing is basically required when there is a business to business supply, where there is a B2B supply basically. And in case of export also invoicing is required, and the threshold is, and the threshold is 1 crore I don't remember the threshold also.
Okay, no problem. So Simran, you are a resident of Delhi and you have filed campus in Mumbai. Any particular reason of choosing Mumbai as a city to appear for campus or to look for a job here only?
Okay, sir, it's true that I was big and brought up in Delhi, and I did my graduation from Delhi only. Uh, Honestly speaking, I have also decided to file for the for Delhi campus only, but before filing our form, I analyzed the past trend, and I came to know that Delhi is a PSU specific campus. Like, I realized by analyzing this, like there are most in the Delhi campus, most of the PSUs who are participating in this campus. And honestly speaking, I want to start my career within MNC basically. And apart from this, few of my cousins also stays in the near location like Mumbai, Pune. They also work here. Basically, they also work in Mumbai, Pune location. So they always, whenever we met, they always appreciate the working environment, working culture of Mumbai. And like, if they say, like, if you will get any chance to work in Mumbai location, Pune location, then do come. So apart from this also, sir, I want to come out from the shell of my the shell of my family. And the dreams which I have seen for myself, I think it is more achievable if I participate in Mumbai campus rather than in Delhi campus.
Okay, great. So let's say there's a company who has split its shares. For every share, they're going to issue three shares, right? What's going to be this action's impact on cash flow statement, working capital, and debt equity ratio? A company split its share into three, one share into three shares. What will be its impact on cash flow, working capital, and debt equity ratio?
Sir, it will not impact the working capital of the company. And debt equity ratio, like in debt equity ratio, I think equity will be split. No, it will not get split. The company, sir, the company has split their shares
In the
in
ratio of
three.
1:3. for every share that a shareholder holds, they'll get 3 shares.
Okay. So, sir, in debt equity ratio, it will increase the equity.
Hmm.
So, one second. It will increase the equity so that the debt structure of the company will get reduced, and cash flow in cash flow from financing activity, it will impact the cash flow from financing activity.
And what will happen to debt equity ratio?
Sir, debt equity ratio, the as the equity will increase, so it will reduce the debt impact on the company.
It will reduce the debt impact.
Yeah, the impact of debt on the equity, like it
Okay.
will
What about working capital then?
uh, I think, sir, it will not impact the working capital.
It will not impact. Okay, fine. So you have mentioned Ind AS 115 in your CV. So were your clients Ind AS compliant clients?
Yeah, sir. So few of our clients,
Hmm.
which I came across, on them, 115 was applicable on them.
So what is the difference between, since you also mentioned IGAP, what is the difference between the erstwhile standard on revenue and this new standard on revenue? What is the difference between AS9 and Ind AS 115?
Okay. Sir, can I take 1 second to think?
Yeah, sure.
Uh, Sir, in 115, sir, 1 second. So in 115, we make sure that the company satisfies the performance obligation. After that, they will recognize the revenue. In 115 also, there is a 5-step model, in which the first one is determination of contract. After that, determination of
No, no,
performance.
I just want to know the fundamental difference between the both, how both of them are conceptually different.
I'm
So
not
one, you
able.
said that one in index, the new index, it is more of fulfilling the performance obligation. What about
Yes.
AS9 then?
I think in AS9 also, the performance obligation criteria, the fulfillment of performance obligation criteria should be followed. But I don't remember exactly the exact difference.
Okay, no problem. So how will you account for warranties being provided with products? So let's say if you're the seller or you're the manufacturer and you're providing warranty with your goods to the ultimate consumer, how will you account for the same? How will you account for your revenues in this case?
Like in books of accounts, how we can
How will you
mention.
book your revenue in this case? Let's say there's some warranty also being, offered by your company to the consumers along with the product.
Okay,
So
okay.
let's say you are Samsung and you are selling mobile phones, and there's 1 year warranty also being assurance warranty also being provided to the customer, the end customer. How will you account for the same in the books?
Sir, like we have given the warranty to the customer, so uh, basically the price which is charged along with the product, it includes the amount of warranty. So at initially it becomes our liability, because we have not satisfied the performance obligation yet. Like we have not provided the services we have not provided the services related to the warranty as of now. So we will book it as a amount received in advance, or it will book as a liability as of now. So in future, once one we, and after that, like for suppose the product is of 5,000 rupees, and the amount of warranty involved in it is of the cost for the warranty is 2,000. So the 2,000 will be booked as amount received in advance. It will book as a liability, and for the remaining 3,000, it will be we will book it as a revenue, because we have already sale our phone.
Okay, what will happen? Let's say if I'm buying, let's say when you go and buy iPhone,
Yeah.
the seller always asks you to take additional warranty along with the phone. Let's say they'll say "Okay, there's a 1 year manufacturer's warranty, and you can also take 2 years additional warranty if you pay 1,500 more. In that case, how will you account for the same?
Sir, then if we take that additional warranty in this case also, as the performance obligation has not satisfied yet, then therefore the 1,500 which is received by the company will be booked as a advance received by the company. Like it will be considered as liability as of now.
Okay. Do you have any idea about component accounting and when we do it? What is the criteria of doing component accounting as per India 16?
Component accounting.
Hmm.
I'm not able to recall it right now. So I have read about this, but I'm not able to recall it right now.
No problem. What is the difference between OCI and other income?
Okay. OCI is other comprehensive income, and other income. What is it?
Not the full form. I mean, conceptually, how are they different?
Yeah. So, sir, other comprehensive income is like, uh, one second, sir. Can I take 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
The value of the PP agar is in that case, sir, OCI में डाल सकते हैं. Sir, like, sir, if the for suppose if the value of the if the value of the PP increases. No.
No. Okay. What do you understand by the term prudence? And give me two examples where we use prudence while preparing books of accounts.
So, sir, prudence is like not overestimating our revenues and not underestimating our expenses.
Hmm.
So, this is what prudence is like. For suppose, like as we have discussed in Index 115, like we have not satisfied our performance obligation till yet. So we are not supposed to recognize that amount as an revenue as of now. So like if we are recording it as revenue as of now, so then it will hamper the concept of prudence, as and not overestimating the cost as in like sorry, not underestimating the cost as in like changing like we are we are changing the methods of depreciation. Like if we are using SLM method, then in that situation the amount of depreciation is more as compared to WDV, for suppose, like. So
Okay, no problem. Are you aware of Section 194R in the Income Tax Act?
194R.
TDS under Section 194R. No. So, Simran, what do you feel? What's your biggest strength, and how does it make you different from other candidates?
uh so my biggest strength is, first of all, I think that I believe I feel that I'm very flexible, and also I'm very adaptable kind of person. Why I'm saying this, like after completing my intermediate exam, I just I just went to the internship, and there
Hmm.
that area, that environment was totally new for me. But still, during that period, I learned like how to deal with the clients. If any client is approaching to us with their problems, with their issues, then we how we have to present ourselves. Like I learned that we have to present ourselves as a person, as a solution oriented person. And apart from this, sir, I think I'm a very proactive person also. Like as I've said earlier, I was a volunteer teach I was a volunteer mentor in a NGO. So at that time, within few weeks, I realized that the parents of that slum area was not sending their girl child to the classes. So I approached my senior to organize a campaign, to make the people aware, like the importance of education was not only for importance of education is for girls also. It is not only for boys, but it is for girls also. And that campaign worked. After that campaign, the parents realized like why these classes are important, and they send their girl child to the classes. They send their girl child for the classes. So I think, yeah, I believe that, like I'm a proactive person. I'm very flexible, and I am very adaptable in nature also.
Okay, great. And where do you see yourself 5 years down the line?
So 5 years down the line, I see myself associated with this organization only. And also, uh, 5 years down the line, I see myself in a managerial position, leading a team of some enthusiastic professionals, where basically uh, we as a team help to fulfill the organization goal. And apart from this, during this period, I think that if I serve for such a long period, I can build the bridge between the top level management and the people that we are working together. And apart from this, during this period also, I want to learn all the best industries practice, and would love to help my seniors to complete any kind of project or any kind of task which is given to us without any error.
Okay, great. What could be the possible reasons for difference between profits as per cost records and profits as per financial records?
Okay, so the first reason of difference is like the first reason of difference is a notional interest, which we take into consideration in our cost records, but they are not considered in financial records. And
Hmm.
apart from this, there are few expenses, like there are few expenses which are allowed in financial records, like interest. the interest payment, they are allowed in financial records, but they are not allowed in this. And apart from this, like investment incomes, other incomes, they are allowed in sale of profit from sale of building, loss on the sale of building. They are basically treated in the financial records, but they are not treated in the cost records. So apart from this, that discount receive, all the indirect expenses, several indirect expenses are there, which is considered in the financial records, but they are not considered in the
Direct expenses or income?
indirect expenses, and in some indirect incomes also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you want to join this organization? Just hold on. You could put on the chat. Just hold on. Yes. Okay. Um, so what was the question?
Join this organization.
Why do you wish to join this organization?
Yeah. So sir, I think the profile which is given to me by this organization is best suited as per my candidature, and I think that I hold such kind of skill set which makes me suitable candidate for your organization. And apart from this, like if I lack some sort of knowledge, or if I lack some sort of theoretical knowledge as of now, but I'll make sure that I'll learn that skills, learn that concepts, so that in future I'll able to serve the organization in a better way.
So you said that since this profile is being offered to you, hence you want to explore this opportunity. Let's say this profile is being offered by someone else at a higher pay. In that case, you will leave the organization and go there. Then how can we trust you as a candidate? And I'm sure you must have been shortlisted by some other organizations too in campus. So you might leave.
So sir, uh, this is the first panel since this campus I'm appearing, and you have given me this
How
opportunity.
come it is possible we are appearing on day three, that too after lunch? How is it possible?
Sir,
You can speak about the organization.
yeah. So I think the culture, the diversity, and the networking which this organization uh, I've heard a lot about this organization. So the working environment, the diversity, the culture which this organization provide is like being in professional. I think this is very important for us.
Okay, fine, no problem. That's all from my side. Any questions from your side?
Yes, sir.
Go
One
ahead.
second. Sir, what will be the company's expectation from me within 1 month or 2 months of joining? Like, and what will be the company's expectation from me within 1 or 2 months of joining?
We expect our candidates to be, quick learners. We expect them to be sound with technicals. We expect them to be more engrossed in the process and understand the work ethic environment to speak to people. We expect them to be very committed and honest in their dealings. So this is simply what we expect from our candidates.
Uh,
Any other question?
no, sir, I just want to say one thing. Like, during this interview there might be some questions which I was not able to answer, but I have that acumen, I have that potential to learn the things, like as I belong to the finance background, as I've completed this degree. So this might happen, like I'm not able to answer some of few of questions, but yeah, I'll make sure that I'll develop such skills within a short period of time, within short span of time, so that I can serve better to the organization. Yeah, that's it.
We understand, we acknowledge the fact that students or any candidate won't be able to answer all the questions correctly. So we understand and acknowledge that view as well. So there's nothing to worry about. Rest, let us, screen other candidates and go through their profiles as well, and surely in some time you'll get the result.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Simran.
Thank you.